We're going to go over walk cycles. I'm going to show you how to animate a walk cycle, but before we do that, I quickly want to just kind of touch on a couple of things in terms of just basic animation. So you can see the character here is fully posed, so the character is totally set up, which means I opened him up, grabbed his viz controls, turned what I wanted on, what off. I grabbed his pole vectors, I set him to 1. I animated his hips, or rotated his hips, not his cog. The cog is for translations. The hips are for rotations. I bent the spine and the back, not just grabbed his cog and rotated him over. So I fully posed the character as hands, fingers, face, everything. So you do that before you animate anything. You set the character up. So like if you have a pose, like your generic T pose, or you have him set up for a sad walk, or whatever you're going to do, an angry kind of thing, you fully pose your character. So that being said, I'm going to quickly run through just some preference things to make sure your scene is set up properly. So settings, 24 frames per second. Animation, make sure your tangents are set to weighted. You can set it to auto. Turn off this thing that says left mouse button, alter selection, turn that off. Time slider should be real time 24 frames per second, and then undo should be set to infinite. Okay, I like to make buttons up here. I suggest you do the same. So the ones that I always make are the spine. You see that spine, and then all for like a select all. And I just hit select all, and then I hit S. Boom. That's how I key. And then this button here is static channels. So you see edit, delete by type, static channels. That basically, so I'll pull up the graph. There's my graph editor button. So whenever I animate anything, so I'll select all. So right here, I have keys on a bunch of stuff, right? I hit S, which means everything's keyed. So I'll select the curves here. And then there's a bunch of stuff in here that's not animated, right? It's just keyed because I hit S. So then you just hit this button, delete by type static channels, gone. Okay, so anything that doesn't have animation on it will be omitted. So you don't have to worry about, getting some redundant keys or whatever. It doesn't matter anyway, but okay, and then you have the spine, which is, I usually, on this character would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I usually make another button, which is all the translate buttons. You don't really need it in a walk, but for animating, I'll just do it anyway. So I grab all these guys, all the what is it, the translatable IK handles. So I do that so I can move, like if I wanted to keep the same pose and move the character over, I do that. So I'll call that trans. So create sets, quick selection set, trans. Boom. Okay, so those are the buttons I usually use. And then I also make a face button. I'm not really going to do that for this because I'm just animating the guy running or walking, I'm sorry. All right, so I'll get started in the next video.